Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Choir Directors Academy on this Wednesday night. Glad to be here. Thank you all for joining me on tonight. It's going to be a short show. Actually, I read through all of the information that I got from the seminar that I attended, and it's a lot. So what we're going to do, we're going to split this up in four parts. So while you're here, I want you to hit the like and the share button, and let's get this information out so everyone can kind of learn from this. It was a great experience for me. I learned a whole lot. And those of you who are on YouTube, we're sharing with you as well. You can hit the subscribe button. Thank you for all of those subscribers who are just logging in. Hey, Annette, logging in, and I appreciate you joining me and on the YouTube and sending me notes, letting me know you're missing the videos. You need to hurry up, and I appreciate that because that lights the fire under me. Also, thank you all for sending in your suggestions for topics and for redos that you want me to have, and other sessions, and inviting me out to your churches and things of that sort. I appreciate that because that's helping me develop as an instructor, and also I love sharing information to give everybody insight on how we can all do better. I attended this seminar on this past Saturday, and I had an opportunity to meet a lot of different people that I've seen on Facebook, and I got a chance to meet them in person. That was a very good thing. But also there were so many categories and so many classes that took place on that day, and it's a lot of material. I kind of like got a little bit of everything from everybody, so it was a lot, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was thinking that most of us who are, hey there, Zier, most of us are part of smaller churches, and we may only have maybe two units within, and that usually is an adult choir, and then it's like a youth choir, and we may have some churches actually, have a praise team or something of that sort. So it varies. Every church, usually you have anywhere between 2 units to maybe 12 units within your department. But this particular seminar, and a shout out to Elder Cornelius Owens, who is my counterpart jurisdictionally, he put on a fabulous music and arts conference, and it covered all areas. I mean, from the children's ministry all the way up to the actual choir, all of the different levels of choirs. And it was so much information, and it was either some departments included that I didn't even realize was a part of that. So that was a great thing for me as well. Hit the share button if you can. I'm having major technology issues, so I'm hoping that this gets out to everybody. If not, they can rewind. Be kind and rewind. They had several, I think I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Actually, it was 12 sessions that they had. And I'm just gonna, like I said, it's so much material, so I'm just gonna have to break it up. I may not even get to all of it, but I want to give you the highlights of each one. The first one that they kind of went through was the children's ministry, and it was the class talked about creating a space for the young children to thrive. Sometimes we forget about them. We just throw them into the dewdrops. I remember when I was growing up, we had the dewdrops, and then you had the children's choir, and then you had the youth choir, and we all just kind of they threw all of us in there together. But they were suggesting that you create an actual world for them, because even in the age groups, it's easy for us to lump them in because we don't have much time. But in order to minister to each one of them, they all really need their own little section, because children grow the fastest between birth and 10 years, 13 years old. So, and they're at different levels, and you're trying to reach this one and cover that one. So they said to focus on creating an environment for each age group and recognize the talents. Don't be afraid. Sometimes we can get, and sometimes I have to catch myself with that as well. We can get so caught up in trying to be, have the perfect musical or the perfect program, that we don't allow for errors or mistakes or whatever. And sometimes children, I remember when I was growing up, before I really started playing, and I really don't play that great, but I do okay. You can't recognize the song if I play it. And that's not a put down, that's just truth. But I didn't really, I was nervous in playing. And so then what they did was like they made every Sunday I would play like a little sermonic solo. I would play like a minute, jump on the organ player real quick and get off. It wasn't perfect, but it kind of built my confidence. And what I'm saying is, like, for our children, we have to create an environment that even if they get up there and they play and it's not really perfect, and then my niece does that. I got her playing a little song and she may hit the wrong notes or whatever, and I just clap for her and say, keep going, don't even worry about it. Because even as myself and other musicians, we just know how to camouflage our mistakes. And I make them when I'm directing. I just camouflage what I'm doing, and, unless the people that really know me, like my family, they know that I made a mistake, but everybody else kind of like roll on with it. They think I'm like the greatest thing since Mom apple pie. And my godmommy's here. Hey, Mama Joyce. That was for the children. Then they had the vocal masters class that was by Sister Antoinette Brown. Now, she's a master vocalist. That lady can really sing. But anyway, I'm just going to highlight it because I got a whole lot of notes from her that she gave me. So to actually like do a class on that, and I'm going to go through that and do the whole class on, she gave me notes, and then there was another section. But it was teaching us how to apply practical techniques and how to harmonize and how to minister effectively by selecting the most appropriate songs for any aspect of worship. And that is so true. When you're on the soloist list, you should always have a song ready to minister to the people of God, no matter when they call you. I will always, my sister, I don't really do solos. I do impromptu. I can do the job, but I'm the kind of person that if I know somebody else can sing it, I don't have to do everything. I just pull you over from the side and say, you do it. I don't, I'm not that type of person. I believe in sharing, and then sometimes you may hit a note that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. I'm going to add that in my little repertoire. But anyway, I always tell my sister, always have a song ready, but you can never go wrong with a hymn. And that's something that's really lacking. That's another show I got to do. Somebody sent a suggestion on that. Is a hymn. Always have a song. You can never go wrong with a hymn. Near the cross. Through it all. That was not really a hymn, but I'm throwing it in there. Through it all. I need thee, oh, I need thee. My soul loves Jesus. You can never go wrong with one of those songs. If you are a soloist, always be prepared. Never, I know sometimes we do that, and I have to catch myself as well. Never walk up there and say, oh, I didn't know I was going to be, I was going to sing a song. If you know you're a soloist and once people, you get typecasted. Okay, hey, Kashan, you get typecasted. So once somebody sees you do something, that's it. You're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. It's like the Clark sisters. They sang the song, they harmonized, you brought the sunshine. That's all we want to see them do, really. Okay, so when you are a soloist, make sure you have a song on your heart and communicate with the organist or the pianist before your performance. I've seen a video of a person that was singing a solo and she started snapping at the musician talking about she had perfect pitch, and actually she didn't because she was way off from what the musician had played. Always, and just another thing I suggest, find your key. That's why I said it's best that you know the chromatic scale or the diatonic scale. Know what key you sing in. Don't walk up there and tell them to catch me, and then when they catch you, you tell them that that's not the key. Don't do that. Don't make the musician your enemy. That was, don't do that. I was with a particular group, and they had a play, a production, and I had to warm up the singers. And so the musician, I happen to know the musician, phenomenal guy. He's the kind, if he see you messing up, he'll hit a note or he'll play real fancy, kind of cover up for what you're doing. I've worked with him and he's phenomenal. Well, anyway, this guy came in and he was a soloist, and he said, well, everybody told me that I should, add more runs, or I should ad lib more in my song. So I need you to tone it down when you're playing. Well, you offended the musician. Come on now. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, you don't do that. And so I stepped in because I seen the musician like, oh, I said, hold on. Now, don't do that. I know him well enough that he will cover for you. You just focus on singing your part. Okay, staying in tune is the key part. But I had to remind him, you're the soloist. I understand you know who you are, but you need to understand you have to work with the musician. Don't make the musician your enemy. Because, we can sit there and, ignore you and be, you start running off all over the place, and then you turn around and say something to me. I will sit there and just let you. I have done that. I said, Lord, help me, Jesus. I don't know if I did the right thing or not. But I've had soloists to, start singing, and I'm following on with you. I don't know where you're going because I'm listening to you. You done changed 3 keys already. So, then they turn around and they tell you, that's not the right key. You're not following me. I sit there, cross my leg on the organ. I was like, well, go on up. Like Micaiah told him in the Bible, he said, go on up. So I just sit there and politely fold my hands and wing it. Go ahead. Do the thing. So you don't want to make an enemy out of the musician. It's best that you know the key that you're singing in, and then it makes everything all better. It doesn't matter. If you sing in the key of D and you modulate up to the key of F, it don't matter. Just give them a point of start, a point of origin. They will love you for that. Oh, they will be impressed that you actually know what the keys are, because most people don't. So do that. Communicate with your musician. Exactly, Kashan. Communication is key. And just let them know. If you don't know, it's okay. Just tell the musician, I don't know where I am. I'm just singing from my heart. Catch me, please. And, we're reasonable people. But then again, on the vocals, that's where she kind of highlights. And again, I have a whole documentation. You see this? A whole list of stuff that I'm going to do a class on that. And then they had the liturgical dance, talked about technique and choreography in the ministry. And they were talking about how to prepare the students to, I'm not really into that, but then I had an appreciation for the lady that was over the class, because she was talking about how you have to make sure that you're right on the inside when you're doing that you're not up there, you're not up there to tempt anybody. You're not up there to do modern dance. You're not up there to twerk. You're not up there to do all these different things. You're there to interpret the song, which is comprised of the Word of God. And I get that, because I think that's what kind of turns everybody off, because it's just like, wait, when you sit there and you looking and you like, people got to kind of look up in the ceiling, and, you don't want to be a distraction. And that's what kind of where she came from. And she was saying that you utilize the techniques to stay organized and grow the ministry when you're teaching them. But she said, make sure that you have the right spirit when you're doing it. And I think that flows into everything that we do musically, because we know music was not created on the earth. It was created in heaven, and it was created for the sole purpose of glorifying God, which we know Lucifer was the cherub that was over there. He was the archangel, that was over the music, or over the holiness of God, which included music. Then they talked about the harmony, the ministry behind the music. And that's the part that we all, yes, I did. That's the part that most people don't see. We see the director. We see the musicians. We see the singers. We see the soloists. We see the soloists. But there is a staff of people behind who are making sure that department is flowing smoothly. I mean, you got, just like in a company, you see the CEO and you see, the people standing out front, posing with the checks and all of that stuff. But it's the people behind the scenes, from the accountant or the finance manager or the PR managers or the attorneys, all of these people that are behind the scenes, all the way down to the mailroom person. All of these people play a part in the success of an organization. Hey, Directress. In the organization, same thing in the music department. A lot of people don't see that, and that's why it's always kind of chaotic in the music department. You need administrators. You cannot, as a director, I can tell you, a directress and a director, and now as a music president over a jurisdictional department, you can't do everything yourself. You have to be a person that delegates, which means you have to be a person that is secure in yourself and know that, you know, even though I'm delegating to this, it takes nothing from me. You know, I still am whoever I am. You can't hoard everything. It's just too many pieces to the pie. You can't, you know, and I am maybe because my background is accounting, I am a firm believer in segregation of duties. You know, it's almost like they tell us when when I went to the islands, they told us you can't dive and fly in the same 24 hours. The pressure alone will kill you. You know, because there's pressure when you're flying, and then there's pressure when you get down. You need to get regulated first, and you have to wait 24 hours before you can take a swim, or you can go by the ocean, or you can do that, because you know your body is off. Same thing when you're dealing with the choir. You need to have segregation of duties. You can't do everything, and I think that's how a lot of us end up getting sick that are in ministry. We end up getting sick and taking on all this different stuff. You can't do everything, and that's what that class was about. I really enjoyed that class. And of course, I got a lot of notes on that too. So that, you know, a whole lot of stuff. That's a separate class. But I just want to highlight, and they discussed about administration, the ministry behind the music, how it plays a critical role in the success of an organization, and how you have to interact with everyone and define these roles. You know, as a leader of your music department, no matter how small it is, my music department in my church is smaller considerably compared to the jurisdiction. However, I still have segregation of duties. I don't do everything. No, I do not make sure that you got a copy of all the music. No, I do not collect the choir dues. No, I just don't, because then you're not developed. You know, what people don't realize is, as a leader, your job is to develop people. Even if you are a minister of music, your job, or a music director or music directress, whichever one, your job is to develop the people that are coming behind you. If you're doing everything, you're not developing, or you're not making a person. You know, some people have talent. Some people are shy. Like, I have one person in my choir. She's shy, but she has a lot of talent. And I had to just dump it on her, because she's just like, well, I can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? As intelligent as you are, yes, you can. So I had to just like put things on her, and now she'll take on whatever. You know, I had to show her that she's capable of doing more. And it's more, there are other things to do in the choir besides singing. Everybody doesn't sing. Everybody is not built to be in the choir. Everyone doesn't have the patience to be in a choir. Everybody doesn't have the, beyond the technical skill, but they don't have that drive to learn, to be passionate about singing. But then you may have somebody that's passionate about being behind the scenes. They may make a good secretary. They may make a good treasurer. They may be able to be a good pep talker. You know, I have people in the choir that are great. They can just inspire people. They can't sing a lick, but they can inspire a person to get up there and, yeah, go ahead. And then you looking at them, and then they take a seat in the audience like, yeah, you know, but that's okay. You got all kinds of people. And that's what this particular class was all about. Great class, great instructor. I need to be checking my time, because I'm going to run out. Oh my God, it's almost 30. My 30 minutes is almost up, and I haven't even touched the top. Also, she was saying that you need to be equipped with biblical and professional tools and techniques and best practices and resources, and repeatedly upgrade your administrative process. Don't become stagnant. Like, well, this is the way we've been doing it all the time, and this is the way we're going to do it. No. You need to be innovative. You know, involve the young people, because they get on social media and they're quick with learning this stuff. Now, I'm quick too, because my job requires me to keep up with the latest things. But sometimes I just really, you know, when you're a leader of something, you thinking globally. You know, you don't really get down to the actual details, even though you need to know. Like, you know, with myself in my career job, I don't really deal with the day-to-day. I may come up with a journal entry, or I may review something or do a reconciliation, but that's not my standard thing, right? But however, it may be delegated to somebody else. But because I've done the background work, when I look at something, when they bring the sheet of paper to me and they say, well, this is what we got, I can look at it and tell it's not right. No. That number is not right. That's not the norm. No, I know what the number should be. This is not what I'm saying. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing in the choir. I may not do everything, or you may not do everything, but you should know what the ballpark or where it should be, how it should look. When they're teaching parts, you should know the song. You should know they're flat. You should be, no, you need to elevate. It's just so much. Let me move on, because I can get stuck on one thing and then not get to where I'm supposed to be. But I will say this point: you need to be well versed in not only in the administration, but also in the upfront part. Because when I was working with the particular group and I was trying to get them to sing, they were trying to get this one particular person to sing their part. And everybody was saying, no, you sing it this way, whatever. But I was looking at the person, and you need to know how to reach people. And that's another show, sorry, in the notes. That's in the notes too. I had to, oh my God, this is going to be like a 6-part series. But anyway, so I walked up to the young man, had a beautiful voice, but he could not stay in tune, and they could not get him to sing. And I just walked up to him. I didn't mean to come across like I just demand or I command you to sing, but I walked up to him and I said, you know what? Your experiences are in this area around your stomach area, your experiences there. So what I want you to do is just grab it and push it up and let it flow through the air. Push it and let it flow over the vocal cords, and you will be able to sing every note. You won't miss it. And he kind of looked at me like, okay, if that's what I need to do. I said, yeah, that's what you need to do. Push. And I just walked up to him and did that. And everybody was sitting there. We had an audience and everything. And everyone was sitting there like amazed, because the minute I told him to do that, he sang every note perfectly. He wasn't flat. He had the tremolo. He knew exactly. And he was shocked himself. He kind of sat back like, oh my God, are you serious? And, so you need to be able to do that. They also had a section on songwriting, the Ready Writer. That was interesting too. And they just kind of went over the tools on how you write a song, Okay. Sometimes we have people as a musician, and I kind of despise this a little bit, but sometimes you ever had those people when you sit in church and they kind of sit there and they get up and they say, well, God gave me this song to sing and I need you to help me out. They used to get me with that all the time. And I would just sit there and cringe, because then I know it's a song that actually probably makes no sense. And you're expecting me to make sense out of something that you say that God downloaded to you. Okay, praise God. And then when I hear the song, I'm like, and everybody head in church looks at me like, okay, make heads or tails out of it. And eventually I roll around and do something. I'm like, are you serious? You really want me to fix this? And so then, after the song, God give me how to work the song out and whatever. And so I told one person, they was like, God gave me another song. I said, you know what? I ain't trying to be funny, but the next time God downloads a song in your spirit, tell him to CC me so I can be prepped before you even get started, because I don't know what you're doing, So, there is a technique to writing songs. It's just not like pulling stuff out of the air. It needs to make sense when you're writing the song. That was a great class. Also, they had one called The Musician and the Pastor. Elder Carlos Moody, phenomenal, multi-Grammy award-winning gentleman, very humble spirit. He taught that class. I didn't get a chance to sit in one, but I got the notes. Excellent class. You need to be in sync with your pastor. Know what the program is. Know what type of music they want to hear. Know where they're trying to go. You need to be in sync. Don't fight them. That's the main thing. I see too many musicians fighting with their pastors. Understand that pastor is the leader of that church. You are to come and be a supportive member. Being a choir director is a supportive role. I understand when we go places, the 3 main people you see is the pastor, the first lady, and the choir director. I get that, okay? But we are not superstars. we help the ministry and we help build the ministry. But, you know, and yeah, we can make or break the ministry. I get that. But honestly, we are not there to fight the pastor. We are there to help push the agenda. Okay? Let's remember that. But that was a good class as well. Then we had choir directing, which was taught by one of our guests a couple of weeks ago, Evangelist Janet Sutton. She did a phenomenal job on that. I mean, my God. The notes were excellent. She did a phenomenal job on that. But she was talking about blending the voices and how you need to have a direct connect with the Lord in order to really be an effective director. Anybody can choir direct, anybody can do that. All you need to do is know the song. I tell people that all the time. All you need to do is know the song and know how to communicate with everybody and tell them the information before the song. That's all. Really, I mean, that's really not choir direction. You're really just a staff director when you're doing that. But if you're to be a director is a whole nother level on this stuff. And I'm not going to get too deep into that because she's got a bunch of notes and I'm going to do a class on that. They also had a class on reviving the church choir. And a lot of people, Elder Kevin McGee has a show, and sometime I guest on his show where we talk about the difference between the praise team and the choir. And the praise team is supposed to prepare your heart, or bring you up into the presence of the Lord. The choir prepares your heart to receive the word. You know what I'm saying? We have two different functions. One is not supposed to eliminate the other. They're both supposed to work hand in hand. But somehow or another, we got twisted up in there. And we fighting against one another. Where the praise team, well, we're elite. We don't sing with the choir. I don't sing unless I have a mic. Come on now. You was in the choir 2 weeks ago. We just pulled you out because you sing the whole note a whole lot better than somebody else. But, we all in the same department. But they went through that, reviving the choir, because for some strange reason, people don't enjoy being in the choir anymore. And I'm a choir person, so I do the praise team as well. But I just like having an aggregation of people coming together, singing together. That is the coolest thing. I always enjoy that. I don't know. But anyway, and the one class that I missed that I really need to be in, because I did confess on my last show that I need to build up my music side. They had a musicians clinic, and they had like the greats, Rodney East, Deacon Ed Showers was two of the ones that I know. Dr. Cynthia Nunn was there as well, but she was not in this class. And those two guys, phenomenal musicians. I mean, my goodness. They were teaching that class. And there was a couple other musicians there as well. And they just, the notes here are just so much. I got to do another class. Anyway, Raise the Praise was another class where it says taking worship to another level. And it was basically geared towards the praise and worship people. That was a great class as well. And, how you work together, how you strengthen one another, how you select members to be on that team, how they flow together, holding effective rehearsals and all of that kind of thing. And that's another class I'm going to have to talk about. Then they had, this class was interesting. Traditional versus innovation. Can gospel music survive the rise of hip hop? And that was taught by, his name was, I can't remember his name. Oh my God, I can't remember. It's in the notes somewhere. I can't remember his name. That was an interesting class as well. Very interesting. And I'll talk about that. And then they also had a class called Spoken Word, Drop the Mic. And using poetry and scripture to encourage our brothers and sisters in Christ. And Elder Kelvin McGee, he also has a show, but he does a lot of poetry and writes the spoken word. And he does a really good job. And that's all part of it too. Because sometimes, in the music ministry period, there are different ways to reach different people. And sometimes I like to hear poetry in the scripture form, and sometimes they rewrite it. And sometimes I like to hear the hymns, and then sometimes I like to hear the praise and worship. And then sometimes you just like to hear something different. So, basically they were trying to introduce us to various units that can fall under the music and arts department. Because basically if you're doing music, you got the arts attached to it. And it was just, I mean, honestly, you all, it was so much. And I just highlighted everything. The next class that I do, I think I'm going to take a couple of bullet points. I hope I get through it, because I'm telling you, it's so much. I just gave you the highlights, but hopefully the next time I have to break this down. That's what I'm going to have to do. So it may end up being, I may have to do 2 of these in one, because it was 12 sections. And that's 12 weeks. So I'm going to have to try to condense it so that you all can get the information. But it really was, I advise everyone, especially in the music ministry. And when I was younger, they had more workshops. So we had a lot more venues you can pick and choose, but now they don't have it as much. So it's kind of harder. So when you have one in your area, and this one was for Illinois and Indiana, you're running, because it's just, you just want to learn. And it inspires you to do better. It inspires you to read. It inspires you to practice. When you see other people who are good and you learn from them techniques and things, because sometimes you need to be refreshed. And that's what I went for, to be refreshed, because you can become stagnant. And I became stagnant before. I allowed myself to get stagnant before. And that is not a good thing. You should always, when you see yourself drifting, when you see yourself coming down a little bit, step up. Don't just let yourself go all the way down, because then it's harder to come back up. But when you see yourself slipping a little bit and you're not as enthusiastic as you used to be in something that you love, and when you become a little less enthusiastic, then you need to go somewhere and be inspired. Go to a concert. And I try to go to concerts where the skill level is above me. I don't consider, a lot of people consider me to be, a great director. And I love what I do. And I accept that, when people compliment me, and I accept that. But I also have to keep reaching. Because if I don't keep reaching, then I'll fall back and I'll lose what I gain. You know that? And that's with every field, but especially, we're talking about music right now. So that's what you want to do. You want to invest in yourself. And for me to go to the seminar was like an investment. Like I was reinvesting in myself, because I learned so much, even though they did call me out and make me talk. I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to sit back and I told them I was trying to be incognito. I didn't want to say anything. I just want to sit back and absorb everything. But when people know what you do, you have to get up and inspire other people. But I strenuously suggest that you invest in yourself and that you attend seminars. You go to concerts. I like to go to the CSO concerts, or anywhere where I know that particular group's skill set is a little higher above mine, where I'm able to think, where something is said that comes across my mind to make me like sit down and research. That's what you want to do. And always reach. Never get to the point where you say, I'm already there, I don't have to do anything, I'm settled. No, because the day that we cease to learn is the day we begin to die. And life is all about learning. And I used to always say, well, I'm at this point, I don't have to read. But then when my father, God bless him, he's 81 years old, and he went back to school. He always wanted to get his doctorate. And he went back to school, and he worked his way out. He did the correspondence. He got his associates, then his bachelor's, then his master's, and then he got his THD. And now he is a lecturer of theology and Christian counseling. So, and he's 81. He got his doctorate at 75. But even now he consistently reads, because he said you have to grow. You have to keep learning. He said, when you stop learning, he said, your life starts ending. And he's 81 and he's still reading books. And when he gets through with his book, he passes it to me. I got a stack of books up to here. I still need to read. I'm like, Daddy, really? Seriously? But he's just like, no, you have to keep learning. So I'm encouraging all of you. Keep learning. Keep striving. Keep pushing. Keep growing. Keep thriving. Keep blossoming. It's so much out here for us to do. And this world is so vast, and there's so many different, it's like a kaleidoscope. You turn it, you get these colors. You turn it this way, you get another format. It's so much out here. I mean, you know, we can focus on the negative. We can focus on all of the bad that's going on. And it's bad, and we need to pray. But at the same time, we have to be that light to show that everything in this world is not bad. Everything, there is good out here. There is somebody doing something that is impactful. And that's, I truly believe that's what God really put us down here for, to counter all of this negativity and evil. He put us here to counter it with good, and with him being in our lives, and we're able to shine very, very brightly. I know I did a serious flyby, as the military would say. I did a flyby, but you know what, you all, I just wanted to give you a highlight of some of the things that I learned. Some of the things that I had a chance to experience. And I'm going to go in more detail as the weeks go on, and like really go through it and let you hear what I learned, and then give some of my examples of what I got, because it's so much. It's so much, and I'm so excited. I was just bubbling all over the place. You know, I mean, I was just everywhere trying to, you know, like a little kid. You know how little kids are when they're little and they know they're sleepy and tired, and they just like, you know, you're trying to absorb everything. That's how I was, and I'm so excited. I'm going to share with you, but I'm going to share with you starting next week. I got all these notes and things. I'm gonna try to break it down. I won't like read everything, but I'll go over some of the stuff with you. So then, everybody have a lovely night. Have a great weekend. Get some rest so that we can do ministry with full force at 100%. Love all y'all very, 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 very much. I don't know I must be tired because my words are slurring, but I love all y'all very much. Have a wonderful night, and peace.